Coming up on NBC Palm Springs, news first, 2 lockdowns in 1 week at Coachella Valley High School. And tonight, the school board has a packed agenda focusing on student safety. We've got more coverage from the BNP Paribas Open, where the competition is heating up and the playing field is slimming down. We'll take that live report ahead.
And speaking of heating up, it is a warm day today across the valley. Winds picking up as another storm approaches. Well, the full forecast coming up. NBC Palm Springs News First starts right now.
This is NBC Palm Springs News First.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Olivia Sandusky. Tim O'Brien has the night off. We're getting right into tennis tonight. After a handful of lockdowns and issues at Coachella Valley Unified Schools, where parents are starting to speak out, and tonight the district is considering taking more action to increase security on campus. Our Carmela Karcher joining us live in studio with those details. Carmela?
Olivia, at tonight's school board meeting, much of the focus is on campus safety and security, specifically increasing the number of visits by detection canines, changes to the campus security assistant position, and approving this year's school safety plan. Now, the director of safety and security is requesting approval for contract services with a company called InterQuest Detection Canine Services. They hope this addition will reduce the presence of illegal drugs, alcohol, weapons, and medication abuse on school campuses. While there have already been a total of 15 visits, the proposal suggests providing 24 full-day visits. This comes after a scare on campus at Coachella Valley High School where someone allegedly saw a student with a knife. The school has already implemented mandatory backpack checks, requiring all students to show the contents of their bags in the morning at arrival. And while parents have mixed reaction to these checks, the district is encouraging them to engage in this process.
It's really important that all of our parents, we have over 5,000 parents here at CVUSD, and we need to hear all of their voices so that we could always improve our security measures in a way that's best for them, for the students, the staff, and the community.
Additionally, the school board may make a few adjustments to the campus security assistant position. The proposal is to add more work days for this position during the school year, with the hopes it will allow additional time to attend trainings on de-escalation, restorative justice, and trauma-informed practices. On top of that, the board is expected to approve this year's safety plans for all schools in the district, all to help promote a safe learning environment. Now, the board meeting is scheduled for tonight at 7 p.m. We'll have all the details on what was discussed and what was approved tonight at 11. Live in studio, I'm Carmela Karcher. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Carmela. Turning now to tennis paradise, the athletes are working their way through the round of 128, hoping to make it to Friday, where the playing field will be cut in half. Our Tali Latoy live at the Indian Wells Tennis Garden with more from today's action. Tali?
Hey, Olivia, that's absolutely right. The BNP Paribas Open main draw action continues for another day, and the intensity turned up today with all the big matches we had. The big match behind me that just ended, there were crowds surrounding that big monitor right over there. That's because Andy Murray finally got out with the win in the 3-setter. But let's take a look at the highlighted matches and results from today that we have on the slate. One of the biggest matches today was American Ben Shelton defeating Fabio Fognini. Straight sets, just came out on fire. Then Thanasi Kakanakis defeating the American wild card, that is Brandon Holt, also in straight sets. Now a match that just actually started at the top of this hour was Sloane Stephens and Sophia Kenin, a big matchup tonight between two American women looking to end the drought of a win by an American woman here at Indian Wells. But now I want to bring in our tennis analyst, Tiani Jadalang, who joins me right now. Tiani, one of the biggest matches that we watched today was Ben Shelton's taking down Fognini. What did you see out there?
Well, you know, Tali, like we talked about yesterday, we saw Ben Shelton's fiery game. His confidence, it was not lacking. He ate up this American crowd who loves seeing these American young players, especially. He just killed it. He came out with confidence, and it showed.
And speaking of confidence, that really took a toll. His celebrations on the other end of the court really took a toll on Fognini today, don't you think?
Definitely. Fognini isn't always the happiest player, especially when he's down. And we definitely saw those celebrations from Ben Shelton's side getting on Fognini's nerves. He doesn't like that. It was aggravating, and it showed.
It really did. It really did show that really could just get in the head of another player going head-to-head against them. But before that matchup, we were actually talking to a lot of fans because this was one of the biggest crowds that we saw for the day.
Definitely.
Just surrounding Ben and Fabio's match, and we got to talk to them about who they thought were really going to come out on top today.
No, definitely, that was really cool, and I think that wasn't the only match that saw a lot of success. And it definitely showed Miss Emma Raducanu. We saw the 2021 U.S. Open champion, who definitely saw a lot of success, and
but let's see what a lot of people thought who would win today, and I think we both agreed on who would win. Take a look.
Absolutely Shelton.
Why?
Because he is hot right now. He's young. Fanini's kind of on the downswing. I think it's Shelton's year.
And Sheldon.
Why?
Oh, because he's the up-and-comer and he's got more energy.
We're hoping Shelton, right?
Well, yeah, we're rooting for the American, but Fanini's a great player, so it's fun to watch.
It would be lovely to see the young Shelton win, but I'm old enough to really be rooting for Fonini.
That's absolutely right. A lot of people said that Ben Shelton was going to come out on top, and that's what we saw today. But Ben Shelton wasn't the only one with a big day, Tiani. Isn't that right?
Definitely, Tully. Like I was talking about earlier, the 2021 U.S. champion, Emma Raducanu, hadn't been playing her best before, but we saw the different side of that scale today, and she did really, really well. I think we're going to see that right now.
Yeah.
I know last time was a real battle. It was 3 sets. I only sliced my forehand. I had a lot of blisters. So today I was just like, okay, I'm going to be aggressive. Took some things of what worked last time and just really tried to dominate where I could.
That's right, and a lot of people were talking about how she was battling injuries, and for her to come out on top today with the win, I mean, that's really huge for her.
No, definitely. She has wrist injuries. I know she had something wrong with her tonsils, so that was definitely pretty shocking that she was able to, it was honestly not even recognizable out on that court, don't you think?
Yeah, well, more highlights from here at Indian Wells Tennis Garden from Tiani and I, but for right now, that's going to do it for us live at Indian Wells. Sending it back to you, Olivia, in the studio.
All right, thank you, ladies. To some local news tonight. This was the scene on Date Palm Drive today in Cathedral City. A driver crashed into In Shape Fitness after what police are calling driver error. Cathedral City police working quickly. They were called to the scene. Luckily, no one was injured here, but the cleanup process now begins. And the Palm Springs Police Department releasing a snapshot after 1 month of their Operation Relentless Sun. The program is aimed at tracking homeless individuals and providing information and resources. From February 1st through March 1st, PSPD says they identified 340 homeless individuals within city limits. 300 resource pamphlets were distributed. 24 people found a local housing or emergency shelter. 14 were reunited with their friends or family out of the area, and 68 arrests were made. And the Greater Coachella Valley Chamber of Commerce and the City of Indio hosting the 7th annual Taste of Indio today at the Coachella Valley History Museum. The event features a variety of restaurants from across Indio, as well as a museum tour and some live entertainment. Looks like fun out there. And here's a live look for you from our Agua Caliente Casino cam. Looks like a nice night, a nice sunset. If you have any pictures from the sunset tonight, send them over to us so we can show them off on the news. And if you were out at Taste of Indio, send us those pictures too. We love to show off local events.
I know we love going to local events, and then if we have to be, we get to be here on the news. Send us those photos so we can enjoy it with you.
Yes.
I like that sunset. That's like the Lion King sunset.
Ooh,
I feel like, you know,
a little
more of the orange, cute music.
Bring Peanut in and we'll
there you go. Get a photo of Peanut. Yep, very similar. Beautiful sunset tonight. Talking about events, Taste of Indio. We just saw Italian Tiani at the BMP. If you didn't go tonight, you didn't go today, no worries. If you're going to head out tomorrow, I got your BMP forecast for you. So as you wake up tomorrow, another beautiful day. Temperature-wise, we're going to be staying in the 70s, maybe a little bit more cloud coverage with that system moving in. 10 o'clock, just below 70 degrees. By 1 o'clock, we're 73. That's going to stay consistent through 4 p.m., 68 as we get into tomorrow night. Winds looking a little bit lighter, at least in the Indian Wells area, so even better. 75 degrees outside, so starting to cool down as we get into the evening hours. The sun starts to go down. Winds light at this hour from the southeast. We are tracking this wind advisory. This is going to start tomorrow, 6 p.m. Friday through 6 a.m. Saturday with that approaching low pressure system. So the center of that low just off the coast of the Pacific Northwest will start moving its way down into northern and central California. As it does, again, this is an atmospheric river. It's tapping into that tropical moisture. It's going to start to weaken, though. So not a crazy storm, but nonetheless a storm bringing in some strong winds. Again, this is more for the wind-prone areas. So we're talking the San Gregorio Pass. We got the 10 right here and the 62 up into the high desert. Wind gusts could get as strong as 60 miles per hour. So that is for those wind-prone areas. Not a concern at this hour. Covered our 3-day forecast. 74 for our Friday. We're 76 Saturday and Sunday. I'll break down more we'd expect for those storms and that full forecast coming up.
All right, thank you, Chloe. New at 6 tonight, nearly a dozen deaths have been reported following this winter's historic storm in San Bernardino County. Nicole Comstock has our story.
Crews are continuing to work throughout the night to clear a wider path through Crestline. Nearly 2 weeks after the start of this storm, massive berms still flank the road leading up to Inspiration Road. That's where Eleanor Dolly Avenatti lived for the last 59 years.
She built it for the most part, and she wanted to be in the mountains.
Her nephew Ron Fawson says even at 93 years old, his Aunt Dolly still walked the neighborhood all the time. She was even caught on camera standing outside on a sunny day in the Google Maps image of her home.
You know, she lived the life she wanted to live.
He says he called her on a daily basis leading up to the blizzard, that she was in good spirits and in good health, but she was living with dementia.
She answered the phone, a winter wonderland, you know, because she looked out the window and she knew nothing about the devastation or the severity of the storm.
But days into the storm, she lost heat and power. Ron lives out of state, so he says he called the county storm hotline several days in a row, asking if someone could go rescue his aunt. But the snow was piled up so high, and there were so many search and rescue missions going on that the county told some residents they would have to stay put. Days later, a neighbor finally made it into Dolly's home and found her dead. The San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department now says that 12 people died during the storm. Several of them were elderly, but right now they only consider one of those deaths storm-related. They could not confirm what exactly happened to Dolly, but her family thinks the storm did contribute to her passing.
We got the coroner's report and it said natural
causes.
Natural causes, because they really don't know what happened. We suspect it was because of the prolonged exposure to the cold.
Dolly will be remembered as a fiercely independent and feisty lady who loved to camp, travel, and make friends. Her family says her final wish was to live out her life here in this home.
I guess I can tell you she's safely home now.
That was Nicole Comstock reporting. An influx of resources from volunteers, state government, and military have helped with relief efforts in San Bernardino County. Officials say 90% of the roads have been cleared, and all roads are now cleared in some portions of the area. Still ahead here tonight on NBC Palm Springs, a mass shooting in Germany, a country which has had less than 10 in the last 2 decades. We have the latest update ahead. Plus, we've seen the stock market take a bit of a roller coaster ride this week because of rising interest rates. But there's one other component to this equation that isn't adding up for investors. We'll break that down, and here's a quick look at your gold and silver prices. Stay with us.